Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Breanna Nicole. So I have another language video for you guys. I know language videos back to back. This seems to be your favorite, so I'm doing it for you guys. So today we're going to talk about what is fluency. This is one of the topics that is probably like the most talked about in the language learning community. When do I know that I'm fluent? What is fluency? Will I ever achieve fluency? Is fluency possible in a second or third language? Anything that's not your native language. So I'm here to talk about all of those things with you guys. Just to let you guys know, these are all my opinions. Everyone has their own opinion about fluency and what it is and things like that. But this is just personally my opinion. So to start off, to me, fluency is being able to communicate in your target language with some sort of ease. You shouldn't really be struggling to communicate. You're able to basically understand what's being said to you with some sort of ease. You may not understand every single word, which we're going to get to that in a minute, but you're able to understand the general message when someone is talking to you, when you're reading something, or when you're listening to something, whether it be a show, movie, or a song. You're able to understand pretty much the general message. You're also able to express yourself. So when I say express yourself, I mean literally being able to express yourself, whether it's about an opinionated topic or it's about something that, you may need to look up some facts. You're still able to express yourself and give your side of view. You're still able to talk about how you feel about certain things. You're able to formulate some type of response without struggling to kind of string words and sentences together, which I think that demonstrates fluency. But you're also able to express yourself through writing, which is very important. All of the aspects demonstrate some sort of fluency. So you should be able, a person who is fluent should be able to read, write, and speak and comprehend what's being said to them. I have a strong belief that if you cannot do one of those things, then you're not really fluent. But you can definitely have fluency in some of these areas, but to be fluent in the language, you should definitely have fluency in all four of those aspects. I think that's for reading, writing, comprehension, and speaking, right? So, yes, so you should be able to express yourself through your writing and also through your speaking, like I said. So to me, I know a lot of people are going to ask me like, well, my test, I took this test online and it gave me a B1, or it says that I'm a C2. I'm going to be honest with you guys right now. I don't like standardized tests. I think standardized tests they can be very hindering to the language learning community, because a lot of people think that if they score well on a language learning test, that determines their fluency, and that's not the case. Any test that you take is, first of all, you're taking it on a computer more than likely, and they're just testing you on grammar. Okay, so like, that's not the best way to measure fluency to me. And to say that you're C1, C2, that's great. That's really great that you're C1 or C2 or B1 or B2, whatever. Like, that's great. But that does not determine fluency. I think a standardized test is more useful for those who want to know their language level, so they can find resources that are geared toward their language learning level. But I do not think that standardized tests actually measure fluency, and they're not supposed to. Which I think that's where a lot of people get confused, because they're like, oh, well, this test says that I'm C1, but I still have trouble speaking, or it says that I'm C2, but I can't really hold a conversation that well. It's because the test is testing you on your grammar. If you are able to, use the subjunctive correctly and use the preterite and imperfect correctly, well, you're an advanced, learner. You're an advanced language learner. You have fluency. That's basically what the test is telling you, and that's where a lot of people get it wrong, and that's where I feel like a lot of people are confused as to why they're able to score so high on tests, but when it comes to speaking, they struggle. So a standardized test at that, does not determine your fluency, especially when it only measures one area of the language learning process, which is grammar. Grammar is a big part of the language learning process, but I mean, you should be able to speak, read, and write, and a standardized test doesn't really attest, especially if you're taking it on the computer at home. It doesn't measure fluency, that's all. It just doesn't measure fluency. So if you get a language learning test and it says that you are a B1 or a B2 and you're still able to talk and communicate with your friends and this, that, and the third, you may be better than a B1 or B2, because like I said, that test probably only looks at the grammar aspect, but if you're able to talk and communicate and understand what native speakers are speaking to you, then you're probably more fluent than what the test is actually giving you, because the test is not, like I said, measuring your actual fluency in the language. I also want to talk about, besides the test, a lot of things that are popular, a lot of people want to know how to get fluent and what is the way to get fluent. So one thing that I looked up was, because I looked this up because I wanted to see what people were saying, and a lot of people were asking how many words does it take to be fluent in a language. And I looked it up, and I think it was like, if you know, like, I think 5,000 words or something like that, you'll reach fluency. That's not true at all. Okay, that's not true at all. What's going to end up happening is, if you guys watch my memorizing work, my video where I discuss the difference between memorizing and retaining information, you guys will see how this kind of falls hand in hand. So you're going to have a list of 5,000 words, and you're going to be able to memorize those words. That's great. You may be able to like actually retain, you know, some of them. That's great. But like, learning a language and actually being fluent in a language is more than just memorizing and like retaining a list of words. You have to actually be able to formulate a sentence with those words. You know, the 5,000 words is not going to do you any good if you don't know how to construct a sentence. 5,000 words is not going to do you any good if you do not know how to pronounce those words. And 5,000 words are not going to do you any good if you don't actually practice speaking using those words. So like, you can study them with Quizlet as much as you want, or do whatever it is that you use to study vocabulary, but you have to actually like use the language in order to gain some type of fluency. So knowing 5,000, 2,000, 10,000 words does not guarantee fluency. Don't fall into that trap, guys. If you stay up studying till like 3 a.m. trying to learn like hundreds and hundreds of words, don't do it. It's a trap. It does not mean that you're going to be fluent. With that being said though, which I also said in the difference between memorizing and retaining a language and learning language video, is that it's better to retain 30 to 40 words, you know, maybe a week, than trying to memorize hundreds and hundreds of words each day. And you guys will see why. If you haven't watched that video, go watch it. I will link it down below, because you guys will see why memorizing and retaining and knowing the difference is so important, and how it can help boost your language, or it can help kind of like, or it can help boost your language learning skills, or how it can kind of hinder your language learning skills. So I highly recommend that you guys go watch that video like right now. Like, stop this video, because I would say that the memorizing and the retaining the language and words video is much more important than this video. So stop and pause this and go watch the other one before you watch this. So basically, with all of that being said, with all of that in a nutshell, if you can read, write, speak, and comprehend the main messages that are being said in a movie, a song, a show, or just someone talking to you, then you have fluency. You're fluent. If you're able to express yourself without too much difficulty, then you are fluent. If you're able to stop translating in your head like, okay, this is what I want to say in English, so in order for me to say this, I have to use this verb because this is the Spanish verb that you use for to run in English. So the word to run in Spanish is correr. So if I want to say correr, like, you guys know what I'm saying. So that demonstrates fluency. So I hope this kind of like clears things up for you guys, like what is fluency, what is not fluency, so you guys can kind of understand it, and so you guys aren't trying to reach some type of like impossible level. Which, by the way, since we're talking about impossible levels, you guys don't have to know every single word to be fluent. If you're talking to someone and they say a word that you did not know, don't freak out. That does not mean that you're not fluent. It just means that you don't know a word. There are lots of words in our native language that we don't know. I know that I learn probably a new word in English like probably every single day. And I mean, I'm fluent. It's my native language. So if you don't know a word, you don't recognize it, but you can still understand the general message of what that person is saying, then you're fluent. It doesn't, just because you don't know a word doesn't mean it's going to take away from your fluency. It doesn't. It's okay if you don't know a word. You're not going to know every single word, and it's very unrealistic to know every single word in a language. And also, it's very unrealistic to compare your language skills in your native language to your second language, especially because you grew up speaking your native language. If you're learning a second language now and you know you're in your late teens, your early 20s like me, you spent your whole life speaking English, and you spent probably a few years, if that, learning your second language. So it's going to be difficult to try to match your target language with your native language. So don't compare the two, because they're completely different and they should never be compared in my opinion. But like I said, I really hope this, guys, I really hope that this helped you guys. I like hearing when I help you guys, and I like hearing and knowing that my videos help and inspire you guys. So with that being said, I hope this fluency video helps you determine what is fluency and where you're at with your language learning journey. I always feel like I said that wrong. But nonetheless, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, comment, and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys in my next video.